Let's go!
Pound the Walk,
Pound the
Pound the
walk,
Walk
baby.
podcast. What's good, guys?
So
Thanks
we
for
took a little
tuning in.
break here. Kind of licked our wounds from having to endure this AFC NFC Championship game. So
Yeah,
hopefully everyone had a good Pro Bowl week. But that means only one thing: it's Super Bowl weekend.
Super Bowl, super episode, guys. Yeah, I'm excited. But like you said, obviously, in my opinion, and I'm sure yours and others, this was like the worst case scenario for the Super Bowl, as far as the AFC and NFC Championship coming into that week. But yeah, we got a Super Bowl rematch, y'all, from 2 years ago. We'll see Jalen Hurts, noodle arm, Hail Mary maybe again. I don't know. That's the first thing I think of. But we got Saquon now, still on a crazy stint. We'll be talking about these games, the championship games. The first one was the NFC Championship, right? I think that came first before the AFC Championship game. I think.
Yeah, yep, it sure
Yeah.
did. And that did not go in the favor of the Washington Commanders in the
Yeah.
slightest.
Yeah, man. That was unfortunate. It was like 50 something points. They put a 50 burger on Washington. I remember like it was just one of those games where they just kept shooting themselves in the foot, and they would like claw their way back, playing like classic what they've been doing all year type thing. And every time they'd get a striking distance away, another terrible drastic thing would happen, like McNichols fumbling on the return, or Eckler getting up and then getting the ball punched out, peanut punch. It was really unfortunate. Yeah,
That was a tough game for Washington. Like you said, they really, aside from Zach Ertz, who was just I guess as a fuck you to Philly,
yeah,
Washington did not have a great game. They just really couldn't get it going, and they lost a lot of momentum. Like you said, every time they would do a little bit, they would take just a old one step forward, two steps back. Every
yeah.
time they started making progress, they made a detrimental mistake, and you know it kind of compounded from there. And not to say that Jalen Hurts had an amazing game, but Saquon scoring three tutties, that'll certainly do it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like we've been saying, I mean, obviously this season's been one of the best seasons for a running back ever, but this last like 4 or 5 game stint, it's been like the most transcendent, like experience to even watch. This shit's crazy. Like, the game starts like Washington goes down, kills the clock a lot, converts a fourth down, gets closer, still kicks a field goal. I'm sure they're happy with that, right? Obviously, want a touchdown. Then you just come out there. I swear, it's like I wasn't even. I felt like I was dreaming, like when it happened. It was like a sweep left, breaks a tackle, cuts cross, and is gone. And it was just like, wow.
Unbelievable.
It was. I
And
mean, it was like for Washington, it was good to happen early, I guess, because they did end up, doing their best to limit them. But Washington's defense wasn't their stronghold this whole season at all. I mean, as of late, they look good, but they just could not do anything to stop A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. And Jalen Hurts did all right, like you said. So great
yeah, that
offense,
was
man.
it's crazy to watch. Like you said, it took them about 7.5 minutes for Washington to go down, kick a field goal. I thought that looked good. Threw some points on. And then as soon as Saquon touches the ball once, he breaks it for 60 yards and gets a tutty. And then they stopped using him for a little bit. I think they were running with Gainwell a couple snaps,
Yeah,
and then
his calf was hurt or
yeah.
something,
So
maybe. I
and I
don't
was like,
know.
wow, it really is the Saquon show. And then as soon as he gets back in, touches the ball, he completely jukes out the entire right side of that field and scores
Yeah,
another tutty. So um, that was special to watch. And I'm actually, what happened happened. But to see a talent like Saquon get to play in the big game now, I'm really happy for him.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it would have been so awesome to have the Skins in
don't
the
get me
Super Bowl.
wrong. I would have preferred that over Saquon getting in
Yeah.
there, but any consolation is he was very much limited in New York. A lot of people were saying he was a fraud. Now he gets to prove himself that he's one of the best running backs, if not the best running back in the NFL.
Yeah, and their roster is just stacked. I mean, their defensive backs way different story this year with like two young dudes and like Kenyon Mitchell and then the white dude Dejan, and then they got Blankenship who's becoming more of a vet there now, I guess a couple years in. So their pass defense is good, and then they just have like a ridiculous D line. Like they're young studs, dude. Like And then their offense is obviously just their receiving core is like super slept on because they don't pass the ball like that. But when they do, you got Devontae Smith and AJ Brown and Goddard. Goddard was cooking too.
Goddard was absolutely cooking.
Yeah,
And AJ Brown, man, he's a hell of a player. He's super unselfish. He goes out there, he throws those hard blocks in. So does Devonta Smith.
yeah,
They're very much. This is probably the best place that Saquon could have came on to get a shot at a championship ring. So it is what it is. Would have loved to see Washington in it, especially because I had FanFest tickets, so could have watched Washington at their home stadium at a big watch party. But now I get to watch the Duty Bowl because Jason Kelsey's not even in this one, and
yeah. That sucks for Jason Kelsey, man. He should have. Obviously you would assume he would if he knew they were going to the Super Bowl. He would have said he'd play another year, right? Probably, right?
probably. But he had a lot of discussions, with Kylie about wanting to be home with the girls and whatnot.
Yeah,
He's getting
yeah.
old.
Yeah,
if you watched the Kelsey special, that dude was hurting real bad at the end of that season. So
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, he is an old man. I mean, the Eagles' offensive line, even without him, they still are like one of the best. They're huge and they're really good. So their roster's just so good. It's crazy to think how like rough their offense looked coming into the season. It was just like, I mean, obviously Saquon looked great, but like they just couldn't throw the ball, couldn't get yards for the first few weeks, and then they've been rolling. So rolling more than the Chiefs' offense has. I mean, that's a guarantee. So we'll see what happens.
absolutely. So speaking of the Chiefs, though, this was a much closer game. I think there's a little bit of controversy about a few spots and a couple
Yep.
incomplete calls or what should have been incomplete. But we'll jump into that. We had Kansas City somehow, Taylor Swift Black Magic, just barely took out the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great football game. I mean, to the wire, Mahomes did what he had to do at the end of the game, one of those typical fashions. I mean, but Josh Allen, you would say he did what he had to do too. I mean, he was cooking. James Cook, I mean, he got in the end zone. I don't know, it was like 29-32 or something like that, I think. But that spot, I'll say what the one thing I really disagreed with was the sneak. Not the decision, but the spot
Spot on it.
was clearly, to me, it was clearly a first down.
Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, I saw a couple of angles where people were like, this is where you could debate it." But then when you do the overhead aerial
Yeah.
and draw a straight line, I mean,
The
that's
spot
what you
was
should
just
base it off
yeah.
of. It was just odd
That
to me.
was it worthy on the catch? Was it worthy? They were questioning that catch. I understand keeping the catch. I believe that's how it played out, and I could understand that at least more than the spot. But yeah, that spot was that was a pivotal moment in the game near the end. I think that was
I mean,
either end
that
of
was
third or fourth quarter.
sometime.
So
I believe it was sometime in the fourth quarter.
yeah,
I mean, it was getting
that's
close
big.
to the end of the game, and they were driving to getting, field goal range. And obviously that would have possibly changed the outcome if they had you know, another quarter to play in overtime. But
Yeah. And after the fact, Josh Allen, man, that play where the typical Chiefs fashion where they blitz from like crazy angles and he had to roll out, he rolls out into the rush and he chucks it back foot and it's a catchable ball, like more than catchable ball. I understand it's awkward timing, but was it Kincaid or Knox?
I think it was.
It was
You're
one of
right.
the
It
two.
was. I
One
want
of
to
the two.
say
I think it was Kincaid.
It was Kincaid because I think Knox only had one target and he
Yeah,
made
so
that catch, so it had to have been Kincaid.
yeah,
Um,
man, what a drop. That
yeah,
sucked.
it was weird angle and the timing, like you said. But it's something that you would expect them to make. Josh Allen does roll out of the pocket. More off. More often than some of these other quarterbacks. So you would think that these random kind of keep your head on a swivel play would apply.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that Travis Kelsey has developed with Patrick Mahomes. It's just when the play starts to get a little long and wonky, he kind of runs his own route to make sure he gets open. And
That would have been like an all-time play. I mean, potentially could have been. Yeah, I feel like if he converted that and they went down to win that game, that play would have went down in history as like a great all-time play. Kind of like that Edelman Super Bowl against the Falcons where he like double caught it before it hit the ground type play. Oh, or Tyree off the helmet type play. You know what I mean? Like that was one of those
It
plays.
would have been one of the plays that gets kind of repeated or
Yeah,
replayed
yeah,
when you
that
talk
would
about
have been
those huge
sick.
highlights. Um, yeah, I feel for him, man. It was a tough game. Uh, I really thought this was going to be their year, but maybe if they add another weapon to their roster, I mean, I think most of these folks should be returning. You know, make another run for it next year.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, but the Chiefs defense, once again, they're vetted. They've gone to the Super Bowl like what, 5 years in a row or something like that.
Yeah, they were
Something like
flying
that.
around, man. This is one of those situations where like you've been here before. Do what you got to do. There's very little nerves, when you
Yeah.
show up for the past half decade. So
Yeah, they're like it's insane. It's the greatest franchise ever. I mean, it
I
is.
mean, they're going for the three-peat right now. If they keep this pace, I don't see how they don't surpass.
Patriots, Steelers,
Yeah,
Cowboys.
because
Yeah.
I think Andy Reid said he's coming back next year for sure. So
Why not, dude? He's killing it, man. Yeah, and he's so adaptive. I don't know. They just fuck the Chiefs, man. They're just so good, and it kills me, man. It kills me. One day there'll just be a swing. Mahomes will start getting old. Herbert will be at the peak of the mountain.
all right.
But yeah, I guess that'll go right. We'll go right into like this bye week we had, which also involved NFL honors, right? And we had some predictions from the beginning of the year that actually panned out, right? You had MVP, right? Didn't you?
Yep. I did have MVP. While Josh Allen isn't playing tomorrow, he did get one of the highest honors a player can get. He was the most valuable player in the league this year. So shout out Josh Allen, man.
Yeah, yeah. Josh Allen, I'm sure he wants to be in the Super Bowl right now, but you and me both agreed on it. And this was one of those really close races between him and Lamar, obviously. And then you had like Saquon. Shout out, three NFL MVP voters voted Herbert fourth, so Herbert made it on three ballots for MVP.
Hey, there you go.
But yeah, I had offensive rookie of the year, right? I mean,
Yep,
I
you called it.
still it was still like I still undervalued it. Like I thought they weren't going to do what they did this year. Shout out the Skins, man. They got a even brighter future. But yeah, Jaden Daniels put it together, man. He was the bread and butter for them. There was no question about that.
No, absolutely. I mean, I don't see them getting as far as they did without him. So, shout out JD. You got the offensive rookie of the year, man. Absolutely deserved it. And I think he was miles ahead of any other rookie. So yeah, huge shout out. But another shout out, Kevin O'Connell got coach of the year.
Yeah,
So
well
awesome
deserved.
job there. Very well
Well
deserved.
deserved. One that also, I mean, kind of related. I mean, I thought it was locked in. Sam Darnold. I mean, this is once again the comeback player of the year award is always like highly debatable about what it really even means. A lot of people say it means one of two things. Like it's like come back from like injury or it's come back from like being undervalued, I guess, as a player and then producing.
Ass of a
Which
player.
to me that makes way more sense. If a player like undoubtedly makes a comeback like Geno Smith did a few years ago, right?
Yeah,
Which
I
this
mean,
year, yeah,
I think it's ridiculous because if Patrick Mahomes breaks his leg and misses half the season, and then he comes back and has another Patrick Mahomes season, I don't think that's worthy of comeback
yeah.
player of the year.
Did Tom Brady win comeback player of the year after the year he tore his ACL? I mean, did they have that award at the time? I don't think he won
Does
comeback player of the year. So it's like,
Peyton Manning when he went out with his neck surgery?
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know. I'm just saying, like, it's
comeback player of the
just
year.
a bit ridiculous that a superstar like Joe Burrow
Yeah, it'd be
won.
one thing. It'd be one thing if it was an injury where a lot of people were thinking, oh, he's not going to like be the same. Because the Peyton Manning neck injury one was one of those.
Actually, did he get the award for that?
I don't know, but that would be more well deserved than Joe Burrow. At least is what I'm saying. Like
Alex Smith. I think that if he came
that,
back,
yeah,
and had
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a comeback where like that's a career-ending injury, and you aren't supposed to walk ever again, and then you come back and you start for a team. Hell yeah, that's comeback
They
player of the year.
they should split that award. They should have one award, and they should name it after someone who did something like that, right?
Like the Alex Smith Award.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
Alex Smith
Honestly,
comeback player, or like the
yeah.
Sam Darnold comeback player of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
year.
exactly. We can just modernize it at this point. But yeah, I mean, I guess
Honestly.
Additional awards, we had Patrick Surtain as Defensive Player of the Year, well deserved. I mean, he's the best corner in the league, young stud.
Absolutely.
Saquon Barkley, Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, he was arguably an MVP. He was probably like third in a lot of voters' votes, so well deserved. Jared Verse, Defensive Rookie of the Year for the Rams. He's a beast. What a
Hell
steal
of
in
an
the
edge
draft.
rusher right there. Yep.
Yeah, I think he's from like Florida State. What a beast. What else we got? That's about it, really. There's all these other random ones. Ben Johnson won Assistant
Ben
Coach of the
Johnson.
Year.
Ben
Yeah.
Johnson. Is he? He got a job, right? Is he in Chicago now?
Yeah, wow, man. What a hire by Chicago. I'm glad you brought that up. Shout out my boy Josh Brewer. I was talking to him immediately. He was the first coach hiring this offseason, which is obvious. I mean, had to be the guy. And to go to somewhere where everyone has a lot of, like, looks at a lot of high value for, like, Caleb Williams and their roster around him. Ben Johnson's going to have fun out there, and he's getting to play a rival Detroit Lions now. They're playing
Oh, I was
twice a
gonna say
year.
he stayed within the divvy, so I mean, that's
Yeah,
huge. So
yeah, that'll be lit.
that'll be fun to watch, just because
That'll be
I
lit.
mean, obviously the Lions are going to be kind of privy to his play calling.
Yeah.
But Ben Johnson is a very creative guy, so I'm excited to see next season. It's kind of bittersweet, we're at the Super Bowl, but now we got to wait another 8-9 months before football again.
Yeah, it's the most. This is the after the Super Bowl is like the most depressing time. It like mid March around my birthday is when free agency opens up. That gets exciting for about a week, and then after that, you're just waiting, dude. You're just waiting and waiting and waiting. The draft finally comes around. Yeah, it's. We'll have a few episodes, or one or two. I don't know, some off-season
Well, hey,
episodes.
we'll check in, maybe every other week or so, just kind of see if anything happens, and who knows, maybe I'll start covering the XFL or whatever the hell it is.
Yo, that I mean, it was actually pretty fun last year to watch. So we'll see how that goes. I think it's the USFL mixed with the XFL. I don't know what they call themselves anymore, but I know what you're saying.
But yeah, no, shout out to all the award winners. Shout out to everyone that we didn't mention. That's didn't want to get into the super thick of it, but with that's all behind us. Now we're looking forward to tomorrow,
Super Bowl Sunday,
Super Bowl
man,
Sunday.
in New Orleans. Kendrick Lamar halftime show.
It was hilarious seeing the Kelsey brothers trying to eat crawfish. They are certainly Midwestern boys, if I've ever seen it, because they had no idea what the hell they were doing.
I've been seeing a lot of the NFL coverage where like some of the media like they're like trolling Mahomes and Kelsey. Like they're like they ask Kelsey like, what do you like more, Taylor Swift's "Love" or Phantom roughing the passer calls in on the fourth quarter of AFC Championship games?
That's great.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious.
Hey, shout out Jameis Winston, man. He's been one hell of a
Yeah.
Fox News correspondent.
Yeah, he's funny.
He's hilarious to watch.
Yeah, he'll be like, "You're a great player. Like your route running Devontae Smith's amazing." Blah blah blah. So that being said, what's your favorite color? That shit's funny as fuck.
He was trying to get on what's the owner of the Jaguars?
Shad Khan.
Yeah, he's trying to get on his yacht. He was yelling. He was like,
Dude.
"Shad, I see you. I
I
see
see-
you."
I seen that, dude. That boat is like a fucking mansion, all just
It's
floating.
like
That's
a
fucking crazy.
$325 million boat.
Yeah, insane. It made me want to like go on one of those tours that you were talking about, like those super boat tours, or like,
Oh,
or
well,
we just
yeah.
go to a dock.
Well,
That'd be lit.
I'll bring you in April.
That'd be sick.
Anyways, back to football.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl. All right, let's just get on with it. I think we're both probably rooting for the Eagles on this one. There was
Yeah, 100%. Unfortunately, but yeah.
there was something. It was like unfortunately, we have to watch. Or unfortunately, there's going to be a winner of the Super Bowl. But
Yeah.
luckily, there's also going to be a loser at least.
Yeah. I saw something right after the NFC Championship game. They're like, well, we get to watch Jalen Hurts throw for 150 yards in the Super Bowl. That'll be fun.
There we go.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll go right into it. That being said, we're rooting for the Eagles. Our prediction though, for me, I have the Chiefs still fucking winning. I have it going 23-17 as my final score. I think it's going to be, I guess, ultimately like a defensive matchup, which I'll love to watch. I love those type of games. I think Saquon's still going to get his. They might have to throw some outside swing passes to him because the Chiefs are going to blitz. and make Jalen Hurts night a living hell. I believe that they'll check AJ Brown and Devontae tight at the line when they have to, and blitz these outside DBs, and fucking Nick Bolton's gonna fly through the field, middle of the field. Chris Jones makes some plays. I think Saquon will still get like over 100 something yards, like receiving and rushing, etc. I see it being real low scoring though, and Mahomes probably gets put on his ass a few times too. I bet they're not gonna be able to run the ball very well. But then it comes to the fourth quarter, and Mahomes drives down the field, scores a touchdown. The Eagles have probably like no time left. They have to score a touchdown. They can't do shit. That's how I see tomorrow happening.
Okay, all right. So I got the Eagles 26-20 again on top of the Chiefs. Eagles defense is, I mean, I think they were one of the best defenses in the league throughout the season. And you know, the Chiefs' offense is not as good as they deserve the credit for, and I do think that, you know, yes, Mahomes, you know, the Chiefs have been here quite a few times, so you know there's a little less pressure, but I still think that the Eagles' defense is a premier defense, and you know the Chiefs just, I don't know, sometimes they just win on sheer luck. So if this is a good, clean football game, I can see their defense locking them down, and I'm thinking Saquon. You know, he's coming off a really hot game. You know, he's a young buck, but you know, I think he wants to get a ring here shortly. I think, you know, that'd be a lot of motivation for me. And you're one of the hardest running backs in the league, so I can see it going, you know, Eagles' way. It's not like they haven't been here a couple of years ago either. So
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like that whole. I mean that. Like them, this is their second chance. They're playing the same team. I'm sure they're coming into it with a way more relaxed like mentality than they did. Like they're probably looking back like, man, 2 years ago we didn't know shit coming into this. Another thing though, it's like if you look at how the season's played out, like the Eagles just put up 50 something points against a hot Washington team and dominated and won the game, made great plays, and they've played really good since the beginning of the year. The Chiefs have just been treading water. I mean, winning every game basically, but
they've
treading
won
water.
almost every game. But yeah, exactly. They haven't had any statement games, but for you to come in and limit the Washington offense the way that they did, I mean, if you look at I don't think they scored a single point in the third quarter, Washington. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. If you can do that to a team that is very hot in the NFC Championship game and drop 55 points on them, look, I know that the Chiefs' defense is a lot better than Washington's defense for sure, and that is going to, you know, limit why I think it's 26 instead of 50, you know, but I still think that being able to do that, you know, you're coming in hot, you're the underdog, let's go, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it happens, dude. I really do hope it happens. Chiefs, I mean, last week might be the first game all year they scored over 30 points. I'm pretty sure, dude. Like, it's pretty crazy. So, all regular season they didn't score 30 points. So, I just can't bet against Mahomes. Their defense is still really good.
Again, I'm not taking anything away from their defense. I just, after what I saw Philly do, granted, I said the same thing about Washington after what they did to Detroit. So maybe I get, you know, bit in the ass again, but I see this as a Philly dub and Saquon Barkley as the Super Bowl MVP.
Saquon Barkley, you said?
Saquon.
All right, well, I guess I'm just gonna go Chris Jones. Like I don't even know. Nick Bolton's active, right? He's a beast. Flies around the field. He's a very key player for them. But I don't know. I could see like Chris Jones with like a forced fumble, a couple sacks. MVP.
Well, if the Chiefs do win, it is going to be because their defense has completely shut down that offense. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know, Chris Jones stuffing Saquon at the line, getting some sacks in there. That makes a ton of sense. You know, if the Chiefs are going to win, it's because they somehow shut down that powerhouse of an offense.
Yeah. So that's it right there, man.
That's the season.
That is the season. Season 1 of Pound the Walk.
Man, we got some cool things coming. Don't y'all worry.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah, and I mean, definitely some off-season shit. I'm going to have to really lock in more than I ever have before. I'm going to look at some drafts and shit. We'll draft mock drafts and whatnot.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to start looking at scouting reports and whatnot. So, But yeah, we'll lock in. We're gonna have a fun off season. Look, just because the juicy stuff, the weekly games are over, doesn't mean that this pod's over. NFL's an all year thing. Sure, it does slow down for a couple weeks here after the Super Bowl as everyone kind of takes some time with their families and kind of resets. But you know, free agency's going to open up here shortly. Then we're going to have
Yeah.
a lot
I mean,
of things
we
gonna
also
happen, man.
we also forgot. I mean, we're on a hot streak. We haven't lost yet. Our 4-game parlay.
I don't
Or
think
for
we are so rich. Like I haven't been to work in like
Yeah.
9 years because of this.
Passive income at this point. I mean, it's really nothing.
It's kind of unfair to be honest. I mean, like you guys really should be
tagging along. So that being said, yeah, we have to bring this up. Our 4-leg Super Bowl super parlay. I'll start things off right here. Saquon Barkley over 14.5 receiving yards. It's the regular line. I think they're gonna have to find alternate ways to get him the ball, and all it takes is one. So I think that's a lock.
Yeah, it's doable. Dallas Goedert, 5 receptions. I think he had like 8 in the last game.
Yeah,
So
he cooked.
Jalen Hurts doesn't throw a ton of yards. He loves the little checkdowns, and Dallas Goedert's got a big target for him.
Oh yeah, and then my second one is an alternate rushing yards. Patrick Mahomes, 25 rushing yards. I think it's big time Super Bowl Mahomes. I'm pretty sure he does that every time, and he's gonna have to find a way to get in the end zone no matter what against a good defense. 1 or 2 runs, get him over 25. I love it.
All right, and then give me a Xavier Worthy anytime tutty. Dude manages to get open here and there, so I think they'll definitely utilize him. He's got a ton of speed. If anything happens, I can see maybe blown coverage, deep shot, Worthy's open, hits him.
Hell yeah. Well, that's it. That's the super parlay. Tag along because we're like 19-0, and this might be 20, I think, or something. So this is bound to make it big if you guys just keep following us on these parlays. So we're good. We're good with these.
We're gonna have to do like a fan appreciation day if anyone's been actually tagging along.
We're like basically the same people who make like fake or like new crypto, and we like pump and dump, just like ruin everyone's lives.
Pretty much, yeah. They're like, we trusted these guys.
Be bullish. We said be bullish. Yeah. Well, that's it, y'all. That's it.
That's it. That's the regular season. It was 2024 Pound the Walk. This was our inaugural year. I had a ton of fun. I hope
Hell
y'all got a couple laughs in.
I did.
This is bittersweet, but you'll hear from us. You'll hear from us for post Super Bowl coverage, and then we got some cool things cooking up here. So.
Appreciate everyone who actually watched this shit, man. I know there's a few of those people, and it'll just keep growing. And no matter what, like you said, this is so fun. So I hope you guys are having fun who are watching this shit. It's just football, baby. It's just football.
This is basically the conversations Josh and I have on our way to like MetLife Stadium.
Exactly.
So we just wanted to bring y'all with us, kind of just see where we're at with our football brains. And if you got anything from it, cool. You lost some money, sorry.
Yeah, and this year because of this podcast, like even more than ever, like I swear I've just been so locked in with the season. Like it's almost like it just happened. Like it's not like I felt like I had to go out of my way, but it's like even more than ever because just even talking about it over again. I don't know. It's like Bible school.
Talking about teams that I don't typically follow. It's been interesting. It's been fun. So we appreciate all y'all that have been tuning in, even if it's catching a couple minutes of it here and there. It's been awesome. And with that was the first year of Pound the Walk podcast, baby.
Panawa.
Tunawa.
We'll be back. We'll be back next time when you see us. Have a good one now this was Pound the Walk podcast. See us later. See you guys later. Pound the Walk podcast. Headphones fell out.